In this video, we will be going over each management card, their functions, and how they interact with the counters. When you receive your equipment, it will include a red binder of management cards, which will look like this. First, let's summarize each card. The Set User ID card sets a unique user ID to each counter, which allows the counter to accept only your club's cards. The Set User ID card is used on Sporting Clays counters, Trap and Skeet counters, and the MT4300. The Set Box ID card assigns the box ID to each individual counter for data collecting and organization. These cards are used on Sporting Clays counters and Trap and Skeet counters. The Free Play card allows targets to be thrown without a customer card. The counter will still count targets that are thrown while in Free Play mode. This card can be used on Sporting Clays counters and Trap and Skeet counters. The Set Date and Time card is used to adjust the date and time on each counter. This card is used on Sporting Clays counters and Trap and Skeet counters. The Maintenance card deactivates the counter and prohibits the traps from launching targets. This card is used on Sporting Clays counters and Trap and Skeet counters. The Display On-Off card toggles the sleep function on the counter. When this function is off, the counter will go into sleep mode after 60 seconds of inactivity. This card may be used on Sporting Clays counters and Trap and Skeet counters. The Set Schedule card allows managers to set a custom schedule for counters to be active and inactive. This card may be used on Sporting Clays counters and Trap and Skeet counters. Increase-Decrease Time card sets the amount of inactivity before erasing targets from Trap and Skeet counters. Increase-Decrease Target card sets the amount of targets per round of Trap and Skeet. The Set Trap Doubles card is used for when doubles traps are being used. This will make the counter deduct 2 targets each time a trap button is pressed. This card is used on Trap and Skeet counters. The Preset Delay On-Off card toggles the preset delay function on and off. When this function is on, a 3-second delay will be applied with a single press of the Trap 2 button. This card is used on Sporting Clays counters. The International Timer card toggles the International Timer on and off. When this function is on, a random 0 to 3 second timer is initiated for each presentation. This card may be used on Trap and Skeet counters. The Set Tier Pricing card is used in conjunction with Cash card and allows managers to set pricing tiers on each counter. This card may be used on Sporting Clays counters and Trap and Skeet counters. The Cash Target Display card is used in conjunction with Cash cards and toggles the display of the counter between a monetary value and targets or rounds. This card may be used on Sporting Clays counters and Trap and Skeet counters. Service cards transfer user data from the counters to the TargetTAG software. This card is used on Sporting Clays counters, Trap and Skeet counters, and the MT4300. Now let's see how these cards interact with the counters. First, we will set the user ID on these counters using the Set User ID card simply by touching the card to the front of the counter. The display will show UID changed. This will allow the counters to use only your customer cards. Next, we will set the individual box IDs using the Set Box ID cards. We will set the Sporting Clays counter box to box ID 1 using the box ID 1 card. Next, we will set the Skeet box to box ID 51 using the Set Box ID 51 card. Again, the counter will display BID changed, and you will notice the custom message changes from TargetTAG to long range. This display text can be customized for any club or organization. Put the counter into Free Play mode by tapping the Free Play card on the front of the counter. The counter will display Free Play and launch targets without a card inserted. To put the counter back into TargetTAG mode, simply tap the Free Play card on the counter again. The counter will again display the custom text. Tap the Set Date and Time card on the front of the counter to enter Set Date and Time mode. The cursor starts over the hour field. Press the Trap 2 button to increase units by 1. Press the Trap 1 button to decrease units by 1. Press the Doubles button to advance to the next field. We will set the date for April 21st, 2020 and hit the Doubles button to advance to the next screen. The day of the week starts on Monday, being number 1. Today is Tuesday, so we will set this to the number 2 and hit the Doubles button to advance. Tap the Set Date and Time card on the counter to exit. Tap the Maintenance card on front of the counter to enter maintenance mode. The counter will display out of service and will not launch targets while in this mode. To exit maintenance mode, simply tap the maintenance card on the front of the counter. The preset delay on and off card activates an alternative way of setting solo shooter delays. By default, pressing the Trap 2 button before a card is inserted will increase the delay by 1 second. Insert a card and request a target. A target is deducted, the timer begins, and a target is launched when the timer reaches 0. To reset the timer to 0, simply remove the card. A target is instantly released when a button is pressed. Activate the preset delay mode by tapping the preset delay on-off card on the counter. Now, a 3-second delay is inputted with a single press of the Trap 2 button. Insert a customer card and request a target. Again, reset the delay to 0 by removing the card. You may set schedules on your counters by tapping the Set Schedule card on a counter. From the Station Schedule menu, press Option 2 for Mode. Make sure the station schedule is set to On for your custom schedules to be active. Press Trap 1 for On. Press doubles to go back to the main menu. To set the times, press Trap 1. The Set Schedule menu begins on Monday, day 1. To advance to the On time, press the doubles button. You will now see the cursor on the hour. Trap 1 decreases by 1 increment, while Trap 2 increases by 1. We will set the active times for this counter to be between 8 a.m. and 4:45 p.m. To advance to Tuesday, we will press the Trap 2 button to advance to day 2. Again, we will set the counter to turn on at 8 a.m. and turn off at 4:45 p.m. Do the same for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. From the Station Schedule menu, press the doubles button to exit Set Schedule mode. The counter will display out of service when outside of the designated active times. By default, the counters will go to sleep after 60 seconds of inactivity. Press any trap button to wake up the counter. To prevent the counter from going to sleep, tap the Display On-Off card on front of the counter. The counter will display Display On mode. The counter will now stay awake until disconnected from power. Tap the Display On-Off card on front of the counter again to have the counter go to sleep after 60 seconds of inactivity. The Reset Counter card will erase any targets accumulated on the counter. We will add a round of skeet to the skeet counter. To erase these targets, simply tap the Reset Counter card on the front of the counter. By default, a round of Trap or Skeet is 25 targets. If you would like to include some targets for broken or show targets, you must increase the targets per round. Each time you tap the Increase Targets card on the counter, it will increase the targets per round by 1 target. Tap the Decrease Targets card on the counter to decrease by 1. We will set this counter to 27 targets per round. We will transfer 1 round of skeet. As you can see, 27 targets are deposited on the counter. Although 27 targets are deposited on the counter, the customer is charged for 25 targets. The extra 2 targets are included for lost targets or showbirds. In some cases, customers will not use their spare targets and they will begin to accumulate on the counters. We can set a time limit where these targets will be erased after a duration of inactivity. By default, the time is 0, which means the targets will remain until manually erased using a Reset Counter card or being launched through the counter. Increase the time using the Auto Reset Increase Time card. The time will increase by 1 minute with each tap of the card. Alternatively, the time will decrease by 1 minute with each tap of the Auto Reset Decrease Time card. We will set the time for 5 minutes. We will add 1 round of skeet, which is 27 targets. We will add 1 round of skeet, which is 27 targets. If a customer only uses 25 targets, 2 targets will remain on the counter. After 5 minutes of inactivity, these remaining targets will automatically erase. For clubs that have doubles traps, set the counter to doubles mode by tapping the Set Trap Doubles card on front of the counter. The counter will display DBL in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Each press of a trap button will deduct 2 targets from the counter. Tap the Set Trap Doubles card on the front of the counter again to exit doubles mode. International Timer mode is activated by tapping the International Timer card on front of the counter. You will notice the counter is in International Timer mode by the IT being displayed on the bottom right hand corner of the display. We will add a round of skeet to this counter and request a target. A random 0 to 3 second timer will activate on each press of a button. To exit International Timer mode, tap the International Timer card on front of the counter. To retrieve the user data from each counter, hold a service card on the front of the counter. The counter will display Uploading Record and Done when completed. You will see that 6 transactions were transferred to the service card. The service card works the same on the Sporting Clays counter. Hold the service card on the front of the counter while the data is being transferred. As you can see here, 17 transactions were recorded. This service card is now ready to be uploaded onto your TargetTAG software. The Set Tier Pricing card is used in conjunction with cash cards. Tap the Set Tier Pricing card on a counter to enter Set Tier Pricing mode. Using a 3-button pull cord, set the price for each tier. Trap 1 decreases the value and Trap 2 increases. We will decrease the value for Tier 1 down to 20 cents per target on this Sporting Clays counter. Press the doubles button to advance to the next tier. We will set Tier 2 to 25 cents per target. Each press of the doubles button will advance to the next tier. When finished, tap the Set Tier Pricing card on the counter to exit. Next, tap the Set Tier Pricing card on the Skeet counter. The tier pricing on trap and skeet counters must be set for price per round. We will set the Tier 1 price to $5 per round. Press and hold the trap button to quickly increase or decrease the amount. Having the ability to customize pricing tiers allows clubs to charge different prices for different customers, including members, non-members, corporate events, military, etc. Press the doubles button to advance to Tier 2. We will set Tier 2 to $6 per round. When finished, tap the Set Tier Pricing card on front of the counter. When we place a cash down card issued to a Tier 2 customer, the counter deducts the appropriate amount. You can see each target deducts 25 cents. The same card deducts $6 per round as we designated for Tier 2 on the Skeet counter. Again, $6 is deducted per round. You can also have the option to display the target value of a cash card instead of the monetary value. Tap the Cash Target Display card on front of the counter to toggle between the 2 display options. With the Target Display option activated, a Sporting Clays box will display the amount of targets on the cash card. A Trap or Skeet box will display how many rounds are on the cash card. When a round is transferred to the box, 1 round is deducted from the card, and 27 targets, or whatever you have set for targets per round, will be added to the box. The Set Max Value card is a custom card that needs to be special ordered. When using a Count Up card, the counter will not throw targets above 2,000 by default. If you would like to change that maximum amount, you must order a special program card that will change this max value when you tap the card on the front of the counter. We hope this video showed you how easily it is to customize your target accountability system. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below or visit us at longrangellc.com.